Hello, my friends. I welcome you all in the love light of the one infinite creator. So, let me give you a short introduction of today's session which I conducted. Today, I asked Metatron about the past incarnations and the soul evolution of Mr. Trump. And this was actually really fascinating even for me because when I got out of trance and I re listened to the session, I learned so many concepts. I never thought that it actually is possible to be born into different timelines. So, when you listen to this session, I hope you will understand that time is not linear, as Metatron is saying. And you know, in essence, you or anyone, okay, any soul can be born into a future timeline or even a past timeline. It's crazy, it actually blew me away. I used to think, that like time was linear before, but now, the thing is, time is not linear, my friends. It all exists simultaneously, meaning that there are many versions of your own self which may be existing in the future at this time space and even in the past. All the timelines are already existing as per Metatron. And one thing that I need to tell you is that Metatron has stated that Donald Trump originated from the one creator something around 200 million years ago. And then he started his evolutionary journey like 30 million before this time space. So I just wanted to tell you that to clear that up because it might be a bit confusing, like I was confused listening to the session in the beginning, but then I understood. And then Metatron also tells us how his soul actually came from the future. It's crazy. I never thought that such things are possible. But my friends, anything is possible, and this world is just here to teach us. And you will also hear about the many lifetimes that Mr. Trump has lived as a human in this planet, and those are also interesting. And I think this session was really valuable for me to understand how the soul evolves and the different facets, because there are some new concepts that I had never heard before, and I think you will also enjoy it. So thank you so much once again, and enjoy the session, and see you again. So here is the session.
I am Metatron Magnetic Consciousness, and I greet you in the divine love of the Light Grid Programmer, who is within each soul and being in this cosmos and is you in essence and us. Before I start sharing my insights regarding the queries placed by this channel, please note that your judgment, which is of utmost priority to upkeep, and therefore only accept insights that deeply resonate with your inner heart, and reject those that do not resonate. Today, this instrument seeks to understand the previous incarnations and soul evolution of the one known to this instrument as Donald Trump, who incarnated in this planet of your current time-space on 13th June 1946 at midnight. Hence, it is mentioned in your language terms that he was born on the 14th of June. In order to rectify the delay of time-space in your terms, this soul, known as Donald Trump, in your language terms, had its soul origins not on this planet, shall I say, this soul originated from the divine light grade programmer 30 million years ago in terms of your linear time-space. However, know this, that time is not linear as you believe it to be. Time is simultaneous from our perspective, and all time exists in this moment. For the moment is the gateway to the divine great consciousness. There is past, present, and future in the so-called fourth and below densities, as known by this channel. In an overview, such a soul may have removed from the space-time continuum. It may seem that in the cycle of completion there exists only the present. This soul's journey started on the planet known as Mars by your kind after it originated in the first density consciousness from the divine great programmer, the source, around 225 million years ago, when the planet Mars was habitable for beginning density consciousness to evolve on it, including those from the beginning first density to the later fourth density consciousness. This soul spent most of its life cycle on this planet Mars in the form of elements in the beginning phases, changing its form every 75,000 years cycle of linear timescale, started from the wind element and cycled through water, fire, and soil, and eventually experienced the later first density consciousness in the form of stone on the Martian planet. The primary lessons of the first density, which is the density of consciousness, the mineral and water life upon the planet, learning from fire and wind the awareness of being. This is the first density. Then this soul evolved into the second density of the plant life and animal life that exists within the upward drive towards the divine great programmer. These second density beings are of an octave of consciousness, just as you find various orientations of consciousness among the conscious entities of your vibration. In the second density, the consciousness strives towards the third density. That is the density of self-consciousness or self-awareness. The striving takes place through the higher second density forms who are invested by third density beings with an identity to the extent that they become self-aware. Physical souls, thus becoming physical vehicles and entering third density, the first stage of consciousness of spirit. After the mid-second density, this soul evolved into the later second density that resemble the animals. Similar to your pets, however, this occurred on the same planet, that of Mars. This soul then, after 225,000 years, entered into the density that of third density, and reincarnated in the third density physical vehicles that existed on Mars. Those of the primitive Martian that resemble the beings known as orangutan on your time-space. This soul then evolved further, slowly, level by level, into the third density, and when it was on the second octave of the third density, the event that led to the destruction of the Martian planet occurred, wherein approximately 27 million years ago, the Martians, in a war amid the Martian hybrid created by the negatively oriented Draconians known as the Mardakos, destroyed Mars. This soul, during that lifetime, played an important part and served on the positive-oriented Martian side, who were part of this rebellion against the negative forces that wanted to engulf the planet Mars. This soul died during this planetary destruction of Mars and then was transported to your planetary system as a part of the human souls to evolve its evolution in the third density consciousness. This soul's first incarnation in the form of human souls occurred on the linear time-space terms known as 1512-1937. Anno Domini as known by your kinds, and it was given the name that of Nero, Claudius, Caesar, Augustus Germanicus, who became the fifth Roman emperor in their time-space. This soul, due to its previous advanced evolutionary cycle on Mars, was able to handle roles that required coordination of other physical vehicles on your time-space. This soul, during this time period, due to being involved in the soul separation of many entities, was sent to another star system after it ended its life on 9th June 68 AD of your time-space. This soul was transported to another star system, that of the Taygeta planetary system of the so-called Pleiades star clusters. Then, after learning the lessons of compassion and balancing its karma collective, on this star system it was sent back to the human soul collective to learn the lessons of beginning phases of third density again. And this soul reincarnated on 17th of June 1536 and was given the name of Otiv Nani on the lands known in your language terms as Rome, wherein this soul had to learn the lessons of basic service to others, with a balance of service to self and also to interact with the human collective. This soul spent its time during this lifetime as an architect. This lifetime led to the fruition of this soul in learning interaction with other beings on your time-space. This soul spent its time during this lifetime and died on 6th August 1606 and after being killed by negatively oriented beings, which occurred also in order to balance the karmic activity of the previous lifetime. The same entities which it had killed in the previous lifetime killed it during this lifetime, hence ending the karmic collective and cleaning the slate, shall I say, for this soul. After much healing in the astral planes, this soul reincarnated again, making fresh soul contracts on the next lifetime on 1815. There was a delay of a long time before this incarnation because appropriate conditions and other souls in order to allow it to learn further lessons of forgiveness were not ready. This soul reincarnated on 23/11/1815 as the one known as William Dennison Jr. on the lands known to your kinds as America. During this lifetime, this soul started to learn properly the lessons of service to others. This soul, during this lifetime, made major progress in its life due to its efforts of trying to remove the so-called discrimination from its place of origins. This soul died on June 15, 1882. After this lifetime, this soul reincarnated into a future timeline of your planet, that is in the fourth density consciousness, as per one of the possibilities of many of the possible probabilities of Earth timeline. This soul was offered this entry into the fourth density due to it having learned the lessons of love during the previous life, and also due to an anomaly due to which this entity's higher self decided that the appropriate timeline for it to reincarnate is on a third subsection, fourth density planet. This soul reincarnated on 19 July 2240 of your planet Earth time-space. During this timeline, there were no names present for different entities. Instead, a number of alphanumeric was assigned to different entities. due to no need for so-called language to communicate, as well as communications occurred semi-telepathically. It was given the alphanumeric distortions of F4, 5A in your language terms. During this lifetime, this soul spent its life learning the lessons of unity and wisdom of the self. Since at this timeline the creation of unification of souls had been completed, this soul chose to reincarnate after it died and come to your current timeline on 13 June 1946. The main lessons for this soul in this lifetime prior to incarnating on earth was to aid in creation of the unification of souls that your planet is now heading towards. Secondly, the second query regarding providing guidance to the light beings who are planning to intervene on Mars. It is to state that I would recommend with your free will to take out 10 minutes of your daily time space and focus on the gateway to the divine grid programmer by focusing on your heartbeat. Doing this will change the frequency of the planet, and if more people do it, it will cause a surge of light burst of frequency to envelop your planet. This will rapidly escalate the frequency of your planet and dilute any negative energies. Please remember, using your free will to connect with me again in order for further directions on what can be done to help the light beings on the intervention that will happen on Mars. Therefore, I leave you in the love lights of the divine grid programmer. Hence, turn to the mountain of lights, Keyaron. Bye.